That creeping back in with California leading design for the U.S. and bringing that back into the mainstream.
All the glass drops. You know, when you're in a minivan today, you're in this little cage. Here, there's no pillars. Check that out. Remember the cars in the 50s? Those old Woodies that everybody loved so much? Great materials. Here it's lace wood, aluminum, and it's real too. You know, that's classic American craftsmanship. It's not just cool on the outside, but we got some great functionality on the inside too. All of these seats drop down. They form a wave, which kind of keeps your luggage where it needs to be. Bungee cord holders, cup holders.
One look at the Kahuna, and you're gonna realize that concept cars are all about taking what you thought you knew about the driving experience and turning it on its ear.
What do you guys think? You like it? Yeah?
But why not present this car at an auto show, just like everyone else?
Problem with auto shows is you have a very isolated kind of environment where the car is static, it doesn't move, and people can't even touch it or experience it. You can step right up to it.
Yeah.
And when people touch a real vehicle in the real world, they've got a real opinion.
When people come up and talk about the car, I mean, that's really what it's all about. Concept cars are experimental.
It should be a four-wheel drive because you can take this right onto the beach and then dump your boards and go riding.
Yeah, this is all great to hear. I mean,
yeah,
you get good ideas.
Yeah.
The Kahuna designers definitely want to hear what you've got to say. But if you see the Kahuna on your street, remember.
No, don't do that. I'm sorry.
No, don't touch it.
This car is worth $3.5 million. Coming up, feel the intense torque with some of the most powerful prototypes you've ever seen. Also, concept cars are designed to let you take a peek into the future. But the automotive industry's ambition to show you what might be has a radical history too. Beginning with famed auto designer Harley Earl's Buick Y-Job, concept cars have always tried to show consumers the excitement in the possibilities of technology and design. The use of concept cars as a tool to demonstrate the future has resulted in hyperspeed advancements in style and technology. But concept cars are really about the bottom line, making you want to buy something even better than what you have in your garage right now. And today's concepts have more elegance, more style, and more muscle than you've ever dreamed. And auto designers are the brains behind the brawn. Today, a new generation of concept designers, like the ones at Daimler Chrysler, are leading the charge in making hot rods mainstream. Especially with this bulked-up concept. It's called the Airflight, and it looks like it's straight out of a kid's comic book. Why?
I'd say the average age in the design office is probably about 33. It's pretty young for a design office, which is cool.
It's a modern version of Art Deco, if you want Neo-Deco. It's got the very streamlined, tight design, the use of speed lines on the hood, which is very much a Deco design theme. It uses the cool metals to give an ambiance to the interior.
It's very simple yet like futuristic, like everything about it.
But no matter how cutting edge this car is, with its long front end, snubbed back end, and rear wheel drive, the Airflight is still old school muscle car. Listen to that muffler for even 1 second, and you'll realize that this beefy machine is just one of a new breed of vehicle that is throwing out what you thought you knew about how a car should look and feel. The Dodge Razor, the Super 8 Hemi, the Chevy SS, the Chrysler Crossfire, all muscle, all the time. But what if your vehicle had so much power that it wasn't an engine on wheels, it was an engine with wheels?
I think, quite honestly, when it comes to crazy concepts, the Chrysler Tomahawk has got to be one of the craziest that have been around for a while.
500 horsepower and 2 wheels in front. The people that built it for Chrysler and Dodge did a magnificent job if you look at the workmanship and the detail in the vehicle itself.
If it looks like it's just one big motor, that's because it is. But you won't find this engine in even the most high-powered Harley. How many cylinders do you think this double-wheeled mean machine has? 4, 6, 8?
It has 10 cylinders. It's an 8-liter. It's the latest version of our Viper engine.
What powers this came out of this, the world-famous Dodge Viper. By this point, you may be asking yourself one question: why?
When you think about it, we're a car company. We don't do motorcycles. The fact that the two top guys gave it the green light says a lot about their vision and their ability to see that far ahead. It is a good investment for us. It's a good marketing tool.
It was created to get excitement for Dodge, and it did exactly that. And it really does that when you fire it up in the middle of a car show. Everybody comes running because they want to see what this 10-cylinder motorcycle is all about.
The design intent with this project was probably first and foremost to package this huge motor in a way that was aesthetically acceptable as well as ergonomically functional. And also the character of this motor being what it is, big brutal beast. I tried to let that come through in the lines and the shapes.
Most everything that's not motor is polished aluminum, even the wheels. But don't go calling the Dodge Tomahawk a motorcycle just yet.
It's technically not a bike because it has 4 wheels.
And those wheels are like nothing you've ever seen. Watch closely how each one leans independently into a curve. Now you might be wondering what kind of rubber those 4 hubs can lay out.
At 1,500 pounds, it will do 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Theoretically, it tops out at about 300 miles an hour.
And with that kind of horsepower right at your fingertips, the Tomahawk is more than just unforgettable.
What it feels like to ride, all that power, comes on really quick actually, at will. And there's one word for it, and that's addictive. And anybody who doesn't understand why do something like this need only get on it and twist this.
Whether it's power, performance, or sheer innovation, concepts push the boundaries of imagination. And if you come here, to the hills of Pasadena, California, you'll find a place where it all begins, at the Art Center College of Design, a world-famous art school with an intensive design program. Designers start here when they're passionate about innovative automobiles.
I think I've seen some people cry. I think I cried once.
If you want to do automotive design, this is the most hardcore program that you can involve yourself in.
Generally, I'm here all the time. I don't really have life anymore.
And in this serious design studio, students build prototype models just like the professionals. And their final projects end here, with scale-sized concept cars presented to the entire industry.
The translation between the paper and the actual 3D model it's kind of inspirational, I guess you would say.
But there's a lot to do between paper and glossy models like these. Hundreds of hours go into making just one of these innovative models. But the high-intensity program at Art Center has produced some of the most well-known designers today, including the person who designed the new Volkswagen Beetle, and the Ford 49 concept car, and this brand new Mustang.
I think there's no doubt that he's considered one of the finest designers in the world, along with another dozen.
I've been extremely lucky. A friend of mine, Ed Golden, says I have the fortunate attribute of always being able to fall up.
Legendary car designer Jay Mays also designed this car.
500 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque, wrapped in a classic body shell that's arguably one of the most beautiful mid-engine cars of all time.
They displayed a show car, which was the Ford GT40. Once again, the public went crazy. They yelled in unison, in Chicago and in Detroit and you name where, build it.
The people around the vehicle just kept telling us to build the car.
And they did. If you thought creating a scale model of a concept car was difficult, watch the time-lapse for the clay model of the GT40. Forget your everyday enamel paint. That polymer skin can be rubbed on, then adjusted to smooth out any imperfections. And if the final concept looks familiar, that's because it's a brand new version of a champion.
A car that's arguably the most famous Ford ever is the GT40 that won Le Mans in 66, 67, 68, and 69.
Race day at Le Mans.
And that was really important for the country. I mean, we were not only going to space at that point, we were going to take on the world of racing.
The candy-colored Fords are the fastest, with 6 of the top 10 starting positions.
After performance builder Enzo Ferrari rejected Henry Ford's attempt to purchase the Italian automaker, Ford Motor Company built its own high-performance car. And in 1969, at a record-breaking 217 miles per hour, the GT40 left every Ferrari it took on in the dust. This 4-time winner of one of the world's most famous races disappeared into automotive history until Jay Mays took the lead in convincing Ford to redesign the GT40 into a concept car, and now into a production vehicle.
We're reintroducing what is a vehicle that I simply think can't be improved upon, but we're putting modern mechanicals, modern safety, modern engineering, and putting it at a price, although very expensive, is in the world of supercars actually a bargain.
And what is a bargain for a supercar?
It's obviously going to be a vehicle that costs well over $100,000.
Mario Andretti equals that mark in his Ford Mark IV.
This car doesn't have a typical business plan. It was more for creating an image and an aura and recreating some history.
There's the checkered flag. It's an all-American win.
The GT40 may look like an old favorite, but it proves that designers who build concept cars can determine what you drive when you go to work or when you're on vacation. And as long as designers are thinking up innovative and exciting ways to let you travel where you want to go, the auto industry will continue to grow and change.
There aren't that many great automotive designers in the world. There's a handful, but those handful of designers usually have a team of very hungry young designers under them that are continuing to drive them forward and make them look for new solutions that are going to please customers. So kids coming out of school today have got to be obsessed with what I always call cutting the old man's knees off.
I want to create things that have a strong emotional impact on people in a positive way. Whatever it is, I want to create it hardcore.
I just would like to see my design out there. I'd like to see it affect somebody in some way, so that 50 years later, to somebody, it could be a classic.
Concept cars are the brains. In studios around the world, car makers design, test, and build just a handful of concept vehicles every year, like this Chevrolet SSR concept pickup truck. And here, at the GM Design Center in Warren, Michigan,